everyone. Welcome to our second National Preparedness Month series on getting your family prepared. Last week, if you had a chance to watch, we talked about water storage, everything you need to know about storing water for your family in the case of an emergency. So if you haven't watched that, check that out, because people ask me all the time, where do I begin? Always, always, always start with water. Once you feel like you have your family's 2-week supply of water, remember that's 14 gallons per person for those 2 weeks, then you can start to build up your food storage, which for me, that is my favorite part of preparedness, pretty much because I love everything having to do with food. So if you love food, who doesn't love food? If you eat food, we all eat food. It is time to get your family prepared. And I don't think it takes too much to look around the world and realize our world is pretty insane. And we really have no idea what may come that makes it so your family needs to eat the food that you have stored in your home. Now, this has been a part of my life throughout my life, thanks to my awesome mom. She always had a grocery store in her basement, and it was just kind of the way of life. I thought everybody had that. It wasn't until I was older that I realized a lot of people only have in their home what they shop for that week. And although that works for some, it's not being as prepared as you probably really need to be, especially if you have young children, babies, people that you're responsible for. It's so important to be prepared. And I know it can be overwhelming, but I'm here to help give you some super simple ideas of how you can just build up little by little. When I started DealstoMeals over 15 years ago, my motto or mantra was your food storage 1 week at a time. And that's how you need to look at it. Don't think about having to eat the whole elephant, right? We're just baby steps here, working towards our food storage to get our families better prepared. So I'm going to start off by talking about how I go about that. If you look online, you can find every kind of food storage tracker you can think of. And a lot of them, especially back in the day, used to tell you how much you need for a year's supply. Now, for my family, that's my goal, is to have a year's supply of food. For you, it might not be. Maybe for you, it's just to have 2 weeks worth of food on hand in case something happened. Most often in a natural disaster situation, you're not going to get help from any outside help for, a couple days up to a couple weeks. So even if you make 2 weeks your goal or 1 month, start there. And how you do that is, my philosophy with food storage is to think of your food storage in complete meals. Reason being, I live in Utah. They're always talking about the big earthquake that's going to come. If there is a situation that happens where I'm not able to run to the store that week, the kind of economy here locally will shut down for a while. That is the time when you need to be able to have food in your home that's comfortable, familiar to your family, and that your family already likes. My mom used to store things called the MREs. Do you remember those, with the military ready meals? They were disgusting. We'd have them in our 72-hour kits, and then every time it would come around, she'd make us eat them as she rotates them. I love you, Mom. But they were disgusting. Nobody wanted to eat those. That's not the kind of food I'm talking about. I'm talking about the food you can quickly prepare for your family from your home and be able to eat comfortably, especially if you have young children. In the case of a disaster situation, even just a few years ago, we had an earthquake here in Utah. It wasn't very big, but it felt traumatic to kids because it was unfamiliar. And you don't want to have to be stressing about, how am I going to get food? How am I going to get water in that situation? You want to have things on hand, ready to go, a plan already put together so that you know what to do in that situation. This could also include job loss, food shortages. I've been tracking groceries for over 20 years. I've never seen what is happening right now. I've just never seen it. The prices have skyrocketed unlike anything I've ever seen before. Food shortages, we've never seen food shortages like this, and chances are it's not going to end. So Think of your food storage in complete meals. And this is really important. If you're a family, I want you to think of it breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Think about at least 2 recipes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner that you know your family likes. So think about those as we're talking and jot down a few ideas of those recipes you know your family likes. So let's say your family, 90% of the time, you have cereal in the morning, or your kids do. What do you need with that? You need powdered milk, right? So powdered milk is one of the top 5 things you need to store in your food storage because it is in a lot of recipes, we use it often, and those go together. And so that's a really important thing to have in your food storage. You can eat dry cereal, but it's not very enjoyable that way. So whether you drink almond milk, that will store on the shelf for a couple years, or if you like oat milk, cashew milk, whatever kind of milk you like to have with your cereal, if cereal is something your family eats, store at least a month to 3 months of that item. If you like pancakes, pancakes are a really great recipe to make in the morning for breakfast because it uses all basic food storage ingredients. But at the same time, you also would want to have syrup, right? Something to serve on your pancake. So we need to have all of the components of all of these recipes. If you like oatmeal, store the oats, the brown sugar, the powdered milk, the cinnamon, maybe some raisins if you like that. So just jot down what are those ingredients of those basic meals I know my family likes. We're going to rotate it through naturally because you're going to be using those recipes anyway. And then stock up on those. Same with dinner. If you like pasta, then you're going to want to store plenty of pasta sauce. I have at times had lots of pasta in my food storage and not as much sauce. That's not going to be as enjoyable. So you want to make sure kind of your ratio is the same, that you have enough toppings to go with whatever you're serving for dinner. For lunch, if you love peanut butter sandwiches, then it's a good time to store peanut butter, jam, or honey, anything you like to have on your sandwich. That brings me to 5 staple items you need to store in your food storage. Reason being, between these 5 items, you can pretty much make a lot of the breakfast, lunches, and dinners that you're used to with some of these basic ingredients. So let's talk about those first. I talked about powdered milk already, and you've heard me talk about Thrive Life's powdered milk. It is hands down the best powdered milk. Don't be afraid to store powdered milk anymore. The stuff I grew up with as a child is nothing compared to this. There's no metallic flavor, it's not clumpy, it's just delicious. It's just freeze-dried milk, you add water, super, super simple. And I'll have all of these links on my blog post, hopefully by tonight. So, instant milk is definitely one of those top 5 things you need to have in your food storage. Another item is powdered eggs. And you've heard me talk about these a lot as well. These are probably going to go on sale again in November. So make sure, mark your calendar, Black Friday, you're gonna do some food storage shopping along with Christmas shopping because that's the 1 or 2 times of the year that it goes on sale. So watch for that. Again, lots of different brands out there. You know me, I am a huge Thrive Life fan and I am super particular about my food, so as well as the price. So I would definitely recommend watching this to go on sale because it is a little more expensive than some other brands. But these powdered eggs, you will never know the difference between a fresh egg versus using these powdered eggs. So with breakfast recipes, a lot of breakfast recipes as well as baking recipes call for eggs. If you didn't have eggs in your food storage, that would really limit some of the meals you can make. So we have milk, powdered eggs, two really important items to store. Another really important item, which I kind of group with my lunch recipes, is the ingredients to make bread. So that includes wheat. And I know back in the day, you know, maybe 40 years ago, they would tell you to store like 500 pounds of wheat per person for a year's supply. Let's be realistic. That's not really going to work for most families, and most families don't know how to cook from hard wheat in their everyday cooking. But this is something I do encourage you to store. I encourage you to store 100 pounds per person. Now that's for a year's supply, so if you're just working on a 3-month supply right now, pick up one 25-pound bag, or you can buy it in a bucket at Costco. Reason being is wheat, when combined with a little bit of oil, is a complete protein. And that is a really important item to have in your food storage, because if all the fun stuff runs out, and we're still at the point where we have to kind of eat some of these long-term items, this is an item that you really, really need to have, because it can actually keep you alive long-term. Now, will it be very enjoyable? Maybe not. But there's enough proteins, minerals, vitamins, everything in the wheat that you could live off of that for the most part long-term. So if you are gluten-free, which I know is a concern for some, then there's another complete protein you can store, and that is rice and beans. Rice and beans together are also a complete protein. Of course, brown rice would be healthier than white rice, but these two together would also be something that you could live on long term. Think of a lot of countries in South America, Central America, they pretty much live on rice and beans. And the reason they can do that is because combined, it's a complete protein. Now, can you always add items to give it a little more flavor? Absolutely. And that is where sugar and salt come in to your food storage plan. A lot of these items we're going to be storing need to have flavor, right? So you're going to want to store items that can give flavor and enjoyment to your food. Number one being salt. It's so important to store enough salt. A year's supply of salt is 8 pounds per person. And salt is used in everything. If you've ever made bread and you've forgotten the salt, you know how important salt is. So that is something you need to store. The nice thing is salt at Costco for a 25-pound bag is about $8. So super inexpensive, something you can kind of start with, get your year's supply and just be like, I have my year's supply of salt. And believe me, if somebody runs out of salt, they're gonna be coming really wanting that salt, because without that, things just don't taste as great. As well as sugar. And this can be white sugar, brown sugar, powdered sugar, jam, honey, any version of a sweetener that your family likes. That's a really important item to have, because it will also add a lot of flavor to your food storage ingredients and recipes. Along with that, obviously, all of the spices. Just kind of go, and you can get a container of spices for $1. That's a really great way. Go to the dollar store, go to Walmart. They have the containers of spices for around $1. Just pick up like 5 of every single spice your family uses. And then just store those, because they're going to last a long time. And that will allow you to make all of the stuff you're storing taste awesome. So spices, sugar, go with that. Another really important item is oil, which I grabbed here and I forgot to bring over. Think about the oil your family uses. We use a lot of olive oil, so I try to have as much olive oil as I can in my food storage, as well as canola oil, cooking oil. Shortening is also included in the oils, mayo. These are all items that add fat to your diet. Now, I know a lot of us are trying to eat healthy and low fat, but in a situation where you're needing to cook from all of the items in your food storage, you need that fat to be able to cook a lot of the recipes you like. There were a lot of people back in the day who crossed the plains, and they pretty much lived off of flour, maybe a little sugar, maybe a little salt, water, and oil. And they would fry a lot of their food. It's a cheap, inexpensive way to cook your food in an emergency, and so that's an important thing to have. I do have people say, hey, but oil goes rancid after a while. I don't want to store a lot of oil. That's a good point, except for that it's kind of one of those insurance policies. It's kind of the food storage insurance policy of food, because you need to have that oil and that fat in your diet. And if you have to waste $20 on oil that maybe at the end of the year goes bad, that's okay. You're going to be grateful you have it. And it's not that it's bad for you, it's just maybe not going to taste awesome. which in that scenario, maybe we won't really care. So oil is very important. So those 5 things again that you really, really need to store in your food storage is a complete protein, whether that's wheat or rice and beans, powdered milk, powdered eggs, salt with sugar and spices to give it flavor, and oil. So those are the 5 basics. Now those kind of are incorporated in your 3-month supply when you're planning your food storage in meals, but that's also long-term items as well. So focus on those 5 and then your meals. Once you feel like you have kind of a 3-month supply of those breakfast, lunch, and dinner meals your family is used to eating and that you're used to cooking, then you can branch out and have a few more additional items added to your food storage. And that's kind of the fun part. And it has changed dramatically over the last, probably even the last decade. In order to store stuff back in the day, it would either have to be in a can, or maybe you found somewhere that you could get a few items in a number 10 can. Well, today, there are so many more options of items that store even longer term, like 25, 30 years, that you can supplement your diet and your recipes with that you never really could before. So before, if I were to store fruits and vegetables, and we're gonna talk about some of those extra things you can add to your food storage to really help round it out and make it more appealing to you to be able to eat complete meals out of for long term. So back in the day, if I were to store fruits, vegetables, meats, I would have them in the can, right? I would have like a canned fruit, a canned vegetable like green beans, I would have tuna fish in a can, I would have chicken in a can. And these options are awesome, especially for your 3-month supply, because they're easy to rotate, your family likes to use them, and they last 2 to 3 years in a container like this. And you could probably stretch that to about 5 to 6 years, especially if you look at it and there's no dents, it doesn't smell funny, it's not leaking. Feel free to go past the expiration several years and you're going to be just fine. Well, the next thing is now we have the option of freeze-dried food, whether that's freeze-dried cheese, which I never thought I could have in my food storage, which is awesome. That opens up a lot of options for food. Freeze-dried strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, peaches, pears, whatever you can find freeze-dried, it's amazing. As well as freeze-dried meat, which I know you've heard me talk about this, but this is such an amazing thing to add to your food storage. Whether that's chicken, if your family eats a lot of chicken, they have beef, they have ground turkey, they even have shrimp that's freeze-dried, which is super fun. So no matter what protein your family likes, assuming you're not a vegetarian, and if you are, you can just store more fruits and vegetables. But if you like meat, if you want to store meat, if you want to have spaghetti sauce with sausage and beef instead of just the vegetable-based sauce, you can now do that and have it store for 25 years, which is so awesome. And I am so new to this freeze-dried world. You've probably only heard me talk about it for a couple years now, but that is such a great thing to store because A, your food's gonna taste a lot better and it's gonna give you a lot of different ways to use your food, and B, that also it locks in the price today, whatever you buy it for today, for 25 years. If I could have bought meat 25 years ago, can you imagine how low that price would have been? It probably would have been about $1.40 a pound 25 years ago. Well, now if you go to the store to get ground beef, it's anywhere from $4 to $8 depending what kind of beef you're buying. So if you buy that today at today's price, then that will last you 25 years and actually save you money long term. So not only for your food storage, but to actually incorporate in your cooking. And let me give you an example. This month, Thrive Life has their diced chicken on sale. This is their chopped chicken. This on sale at the sale price is right around $3 a pound. That right there is cheaper than you can get it at most grocery stores. And that is the time that you want to stock up, because when it's on sale and you buy it today, that means you could have chicken for 25 years to come at $3 a pound. And you know me, I am a bargain shopper. I don't buy anything if it's not on sale. And that is the perfect time to stock up. And so let's talk about how exactly to know what to add to your food storage. Because if you came up with a list today of those recipes that you want to store, and you went out to the store and just bought all of them today, you're going to break the bank. You're not going to want to do that, and you're going to get burned out and discouraged and frustrated that buying your food storage is ruining your family budget. Well, there's a few things you need to keep in mind. Number one, don't buy everything all at once. Unless you have a plethora of money, you need to do a little bit here and there, a little bit at a time. And that is why Deals to Meals is around, and that's why we've been around for 15 years. Because I'm here to help you know exactly what groceries to buy each week that are on sale and which items to add to your food storage. So if cereal is on sale this week for $1.79 a box, I'll tell you that on Deals to Meals, it's completely free. So share this with all your friends and family so that we can continue to keep it free. I will tell you how many to store, how long it lasts, and how much you should put in your food storage. So a cereal box lasts about 2 years, and I recommend 10 boxes per person. If you want a year's supply, of course you can adjust that. If mayo is on sale, and food goes on sale in trends, so mayo goes on sale in the summer, that's a perfect time to buy your year's supply of mayo because it goes on sale. And if you can buy a year's supply, you never have to buy it again when it's not on sale, which I know is easier said than done, but I promise as you do that a little bit at a time, all throughout the year, your food budget is actually going to shrink because you're buying everything on sale and you never have to buy it again till the next time it goes on sale. So watching those grocery deal ads, and you don't even have to look at them anymore. I look at them, I type them all up, I help you know exactly which items to buy. And I tell you exactly how much to put in your food storage. When you see those items on Deals to Meals that have a gold ticket or a red ticket, those are the very best, or flag, those are the very best items to add to your food storage that week. So for example, today is the last day of case law in Utah. Peanut butter is on sale for $1.25, usually $2.25 for this small jar. I'll tell you that this will last 3 to 4 years in your food storage, and you should have about 4 to 5 of these per person for a year's supply. Of course, you adjust that if you eat a lot of peanut butter. But it's as simple as that, knowing what items to add, how much to add, and to buy it when it's on sale, because you don't want to go spend full price on items that you're wanting to stock up on. So just do a little bit at a time. Before you head out to that grocery store, especially those who live in Utah, I'm kind of focusing in on the Western United States. They have the better deals, sadly, than the Eastern United States, but check out Deals to Meals before you shop and just glance through and see if there's a store that has some really great food storage items that you want to add to your food storage. I do have to say there are fewer now than there ever have been. So it's more important now to really focus on those deals so that you know what items to add each week. So a little by little, every week as you shop, stock up. As far as freeze-dried food, which I really recommend having a good supply of some of those items in your food storage, they go on sale monthly. And if you are part of our email list or on Instagram, Facebook, every month I share those items that are on sale. And you can get any of those deals at dealstomeals.thrivelife.com. And they always have just a shop section, and then they have the monthly specials. Those are the ones you want to focus on because those are the very best deal. This month, for example, they have their chicken like I talked about on sale. They have green peas, which are so much better than canned peas. They have spinach on sale, diced potatoes, which are a really fun thing to have in your food storage. There's always about 6 to 7 items on sale. You can buy them in the number 10 can, or you can buy the small pantry can that's this size and just get one of everything that's on sale. It's their value pack. It's always around $120, and just kind of put that in your food budget so that that ships to you every week, every month. And over time, you'll be surprised at the variety you're adding to your food storage without really having to think about it or break the bank. So again, I'm a huge fan of Thrive Life. Their quality is unlike anything you can get on the market, and such a perfect way to round out your food storage. So we talked a lot about everything food storage. I'm going to do another class probably in October or November about how to store your food storage, how to track it, how to rotate it. I do want to do a shout out to some friends I met this weekend who their Facebook page is A Prepared Home. If you want to check them out, they are developing an app where you can track everything having to do with your food storage, and it's going to be amazing. In the meantime, check back tonight or tomorrow when I get my blog post up, and I'm going to have a link to a food storage calculator that's pretty awesome. Until that app comes out, I think this is the best one you can find. My husband created it, and you can simply put in how many people are in your family, how many months supply of food you want to get, and it will calculate everything you need. And the nice thing is, it's a Google Doc, so it's a live document where you can add stuff as you go to the store, you can take stuff away as you bring it up and start using it in your cooking. And so that's a really good tool to be able to use. Now, a little disclaimer, you do need to make a copy of that file. The file I will link you to, it is our master copy. Of course I made a copy, but you don't want to add your information there. You want to be able to make a copy and then use that copy for your family's use. So that inventory sheet will tell you exactly how much you need of everything to store and really help your family become better prepared and build up that grocery store in your own home to save you the very most money. If you have any questions at all about food storage, I could obviously talk about it all day. So come on by, leave a comment, let me know what questions you have. I love doing these Instagram lives so that I can teach you a little bit more instead of just doing it in a wordy blog. So let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for stopping by. Remember to check out DealstoMeals as well as dealstomeals.thrivelife.com, and let's get prepared together. Have an amazing day.